You close the front door, turn the deadbolt, and before you reach your car, it starts. The rapid pacing, whining, and frantic barking. This behavior reflects a physiological stress response, elevated cortisol, and a spiking heart rate triggered by the perceived threat of being alone. For a Yorkie, their intense attachment to their owners makes physical distance feel like a crisis. Managing this distress requires a systematic approach that moves from identifying specific panic triggers to executing a structured, gradual desensitization plan. This protocol requires specific tools: standard departure triggers like your keys, a stuffable treat puzzle, calming chews, and an indoor pet camera to monitor progress. These combined strategies condition a new response in the dog, viewing your departure as predictable, a non-threatening event, rather than an abandonment. Step 1 is recording your dog's unfiltered reaction. Set up your camera, go through your normal leaving routine, and walk out the door so you can see exactly how they behave when the house is empty. This chart helps differentiate the behaviors on the footage. On the left, separation intolerance shows a brief spike in barking that quickly flatlines. On the right, true separation anxiety shows a rising, sustained curve of distress, pacing, panting, or howling that continues until you return. Look for signs of pre-departure anxiety. For many Yorkies, the stress response begins the moment you put on your shoes or grab your coat, long before you actually reach the door. This checklist identifies factors contributing to this distress: the breed's Velcro nature, sudden schedule changes, past rescue trauma, or over-attachment patterns established during puppyhood. Defining the severity and identifying the exact moments the panic starts is the necessary first step before you can apply any of the following training techniques. Step 2 involves preparing the environment. Start with a brisk walk to tire your Yorkie out. Lowering their baseline physical energy makes it harder for them to reach a state of high arousal panic later. Next, introduce a high-value activity they only get during alone time. A frozen, stuffed puzzle toy provides 20 to 30 minutes of engagement, creating a positive association with your absence. Calming aids can also play a supporting role. Pheromone diffusers or L-theanine chews help lower the dog's anxiety threshold, making the behavioral training sessions more effective. You can mask the silence of an empty house by leaving a radio or television on. Reducing the sudden change in the house's soundscape helps keep the environment consistent. These tools provide the physiological foundation for the training. While they don't solve the problem on their own, they set the dog up to remain calm enough to actually learn. Step 3 begins while you are still home. You must stop providing attention when your Yorkie follows you from room to room. Every time you pet or talk to them foreshadowing you, you reinforce their need to be physically close. Practice the stay command in a separate room. Reward the dog with attention only when they remain in place, teaching them that staying put, not following you, is the behavior that earns a reward. This flowchart illustrates the closed door drill. Close a door between yourself and the dog. Wait 30 seconds, then open it and offer calm praise. Once routine, increase the time to 1 minute, then 5. This ensures the dog never escalates into a panic. These repetitions prove to the dog that physical separation is temporary, safe, and a normal part of life inside the house. Step 4 is about breaking the predictive routine of your exit. Perform fake departures. Pick up your keys and put on your coat, then sit on the couch instead of leaving. Repeating these actions up to 20 times a day strips the cues of their meaning. Eventually, your Yorkie will stop reacting to the sound of keys because they no longer signal a departure. When the dog is calm, perform a micro-departure. Step out the front door, wait 10 seconds, and walk back in. Your arrival and departure must be matter-of-fact. Long goodbyes reward the dog's anxious state, while a neutral routine shows your coming and going is unremarkable. Removing the emotion from these moments and returning quickly teaches the dog that your absence is a short, survivable event. These protocols establish the starting point for the daily practice needed to extend alone time from seconds to hours. Never punish your Yorkie for anxiety-driven destruction, like chewed furniture or accidents. Punishment only increases the stress they feel regarding your arrival home, which can worsen the underlying anxiety. It is also important to note that adding a second dog rarely solves separation anxiety. Because the distress is usually tied to the human's absence, you may simply end up with two dogs experiencing the same panic. This graph shows the reality of the timeline. Extending your dog's tolerance from a few minutes to an hour takes several weeks of consistent daily work. Progress is measured in steady, incremental gains. The consistency of this training builds a foundation of security, allowing the dog to remain a loyal companion without the accompanying distress of being left alone.